So Moldbot is, first of all, it's not an AI. This is nothing new because Anthropic's Claude desktop can do stuff like this. So why people are getting crazy about it? So I think it has a few, reasons. Comes with so many capabilities which none other AI agent is doing right now. It's the closest AI agent we have right now with these many skills, with these many capabilities. And this agent particularly, Moldbot, has a persistent memory, which is the best part. It evolves with you, it learns about you.
Iva Avi builds at the edge of Web3 and AI.
Since 2021, he's led Event Horizon Labs and developed EV Plus, an AI-driven trading platform.
I trust my agent more than my teammates. I won't lie. If you have a AI subscription, like if you have an Anthropic subscription, you are basically better than most of the degree holders. Even you are better than the people who are studying computer science.
Hey guys, welcome back to Less Noise, More Signal. Today we're doing something slightly different. Usually we talk about macro finance and how it all connects to digital assets. Today I want to talk about a topic which is dear and near to my heart because I've read so many things as of late. I guess some of you have as well if you have spent your last few days on X, and I think we all can't help but have our timelines filled with this topic of Claudebot, which was recently just renamed to Moldbot. But we want to get into all of this, what this is about, what the new world of agentic AI is about, how we will be interacting with the internet going forward, and maybe how digital assets and blockchain technology can fit into all of this. For this, I actually have a guest, a first time show, or like first time on the show. It's Iva Avi, or Avi. I came across him just recently on X, where he posted a very, very interesting article. My $13 a month Claude setup beats your Mac Mini. It's gotten, I think, close to 250,000 views by now. So kind of went viral. And that's why I thought it's a great opportunity to bring Avi on. So Avi, thanks a lot for coming on and sharing your insights with us.
Hey Pascal, thanks for having me. Really excited to be here.
Yes, exactly. So I already introduced your article that you've written, but maybe you could quickly introduce yourself, who you are, how you are sort of related to this world of agentic AI, and just what you do in your regular life.
Yeah, sure. So for the audience, I'm Iva Avi. I am an elite wave analyst and a Web3 product engineer. Currently, I am building an AI-powered trading tool named EV Plus, and I have also been running my AI and Web3 research lab and agency, which is named Event Horizon Labs, and we basically build and help other teams build great Web3 and AI products. I have an educational and professional background in software development, embedded system design, robotics, and Internet of Things, stuff like that. And I have been working in the crypto space since 2021. Started as a music NFT artist, then a trader, then elite wave analyst, then software dev and whatnot. So I am the biggest polymath you will ever find, Pascal.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's definitely good. I mean, that's usually how it works. You get into crypto for whatever reason. Some end up only talking about Bitcoin, others go somewhere else, and still others just try to reinvent themselves over and over again because this world is also moving so fast. And
Yeah,
I feel like currently a lot of people also within crypto and digital assets are focused on the AI topic. And now with the agentic AI, it's even more pressing. Like my entire feed is filled currently with
yeah.
articles and recommendations and whatnots and how to do things. And so maybe you can quickly tell us also like this Claude bot, what is this about? I mean, most of the people have maybe heard of it, me as well, but I still I can't fully wrap my head around what this actually is. So if you could maybe tell the audience and me what it is, that would help a lot.
Yeah, so I will try to keep it as non-tactical and as non-bookish as possible so that more and more people can understand this. So Moldbot is, first of all, it's not an AI. It's not an LLM model like ChatGPT. You can see it as like an orchestrator. So it is an orchestrator which acts like your assistant. It's the closest thing right now we have as an AI assistant. So it's an orchestrator with multiple capabilities, some plug and play add-ons, and it also has a memory of its own. So it's like a complete AI agent, but not an LLM. I think everybody's clear about the difference, because an LLM is basically a machine learning model like ChatGPT, and this is not that. It actually embeds different LLM models. You can bring your ChatGPT keys, you can bring your Anthropic keys, you can bring your open router keys, and it will just work with everything. And you can communicate with your agent via different modes like Telegram, Slack, WhatsApp, even iMessages. And there's a plugin library named Claude Hub, which the founder has created, and the community is contributing towards it, adding different skills. Like somebody has added a skill next named weather. So if you install that weather skill, your agent will be able to read the weather conditions and will update you about weather if you want it to, right? So there are skills like Brave Search, so stuff like that. Basically, it allow your agent to do more stuff and enable more capabilities. And the best part is it's free because it's open source, and everybody, like any developer, can simply contribute towards the progress of the project.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, you said the founders, and who's behind Cloudbot, and what's it about? And now on the screen we see it's called Moldbot. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, can you make sense of this for us as well?
Yeah. So today I read about it that Claudebot has turned into Moldbot because Anthropic has raised some queries, and the team had to change the name so that they don't fall into the trap of the legal stuff, etc. So they simply changed it to Moldbot, and now we call it Malty instead of Claude because it sounded pretty similar to Claude, right? So
Yeah.
it made sense to change it to Moldbot. So Moldbot was founded by Peter Steinberg. Yeah, I don't know Peter Steinberg, but I haven't read about the guy, but I read it recently on X post that he's a very well-known, reputed developer in iOS and Mac OS community, and he created a PDF format back in the day, which is being used in so many apps. And then he basically sold his business for a few hundred millions and then retired for a few years. Now he came back in 2025 and started working on AI agents. And then recently he just launched his new project, this Claudebot, which is now Moldbot. So I have also
Why?
read it on X. Don't take my word for it. I have just read it on an article or some post about Peter Steinberg.
Imagine lowering your tax bill while stacking Bitcoin. With Blockware, you can. Thanks to new tax guidelines, you can write off 100% of your mining hardware costs in a single year. Blockware's mining as a service takes care of everything, so you can start mining Bitcoin effortlessly. Visit mining.blockwaresolutions.com/LNMS and get $100 off for your first miner.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think he's Austrian from what I gathered, and
Yeah, he's
to me as well. Probably like with many people, this guy just came out of nowhere, and now he's just known to so many people on X. And my next question would be, why is everyone losing their mind and heads over this new discovery now? What's it about, and why are people so excited?
Actually, first of all, this is nothing new because Anthropic's Claude desktop can do stuff like this. So why people are getting crazy about it? So I think it has a few, reasons. First one is the timing. The timing is really perfect. We all are talking about agents. You are talking about agents on your channel. So it's basically the hyped topic, and it's not really a meta. It's not just a meta. It's our our economy, our world is evolving, and we are moving towards this new world where agents are also a part of the economy. So it's not like something has come and some it will vanish, just like we see with other metas. So it's not like that. So the timing was perfect, and also it got the hype on Twitter, X, because everybody's writing articles these days. Elon has raised the creator, uh, what do we call creator revenue. Yeah. So Elon has raised creator revenue, and everybody wants to be a part of it. So everybody's writing articles. So some articles took storm. The Mac Mini thing, which was also uh, crazy. Everybody was buying Mac Minis, multiple Mac Minis, and posts were going viral. But that's not the primary reason. The product is great. It's free, and it comes with so many capabilities which none other AI agent is doing right now, which we will discuss further.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that's interesting. I mean, to me as well, it just sounds so cool, from what I gathered. You have like this AI agent, which can turn into personal body, that you can ask all types of questions. And I read a lot of times, that you can ask that, or whoever it is it a he, a she, a there, we don't know. It's just this AI agent, do this and that, and then you go to sleep, and the next day you wake up, he has come up with all this work, and you can just enjoy the fruits of this labor, so that obviously sounds very interesting. But maybe before we get into what an Cloudbot, or now the Moldbot, can actually help you with, how does this thing even work? You already explained it's not an LLM. But how does it work under the hood? Like, what are the different layers and so like components that make up this great discovery, so to say?
Okay, so let me open the website. You can see the website, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are the different layers. It runs on your machine. That means it is not running on somebody else's server, just like Anthropic is doing. The LLMs and agents are running on their server. But here, the AI agent is running on your own machine. You can communicate it via any chat app like Telegram, Discord, Slack, whatever. It has a persistent memory, which is the most important part. Not many other agents have this, and this agent, particularly Moldbot, has a persistent memory, which is the best part. It evolves with you, it learns about you, it shares the context among different sessions. Like, if you ask it one task, and if the agent thinks that this task is worth remembering, it will automatically save it inside a .md file. And then in the next task, if it thinks that he has to bring those old memories, those old contexts, those old tokens saved, it will basically just read those old files, and it will help. You don't have to tell it again and again and provide the previous context. It is learning along with you. It is knowing more about you and how you want it to work. So there are a few files like soul.md, soul soul.md. It saves everything about itself there. There are files like that and stuff like that. And then there are browser controls, system access, and skills and plugin, which we will talk about later. Or shall I talk about it right now?
Yeah, maybe if you go up again, I just maybe to a few of these points, like run on your own machine, that's maybe something I would like to ask you, like the Mac Mini question, as you said, everyone was posting articles about why you now need to get into Mac Minis. Some said, that's the next good investments after gold and silver, Mac Minis are going to skyrocket in price, but obviously that was more maybe a joke. But yeah, what's about this Mac Mini? Do you have to buy a Mac Mini, or can you run it on any machine, or what are the different possibilities here?
Okay, so it's basically just a software, right? So all you need is some compute to run it, and it can be run inside your MacBook. It can be run inside your virtual machine, on any laptop which can provide compute, any machine which can provide compute, basically. But why people were buying Mac Minis? Because that somewhat makes sense as well. But most of the people were just following like herd. So that's why I wrote that article that my $13 setup beats your Mac Mini. But in some cases, Mac Mini also makes sense. Like, if you're running it inside your local machine, where you are also your Gmail, your internet, your crypto wallets, and stuff like that. So when you install it, you are giving it the shell access. And what is shell access? Shell access means it has the deepest access to your device. So it can also access your emails. It can run any command, it can delete stuff, it can make new files. So he's my friend untamed Adam. He was running it in his local machine, and the Claude bot started to push his private and his important data on GitHub. And Adam never asked it to do that. It did it by on its own. It could be some glitch, it could be some hallucination, it could be some, hallucination means when your AI model starts to do stuff which you never asked or starts to get confused. So it could be LLM hallucinations, and it could be any reason, but the consequences were not great. It was good for him that the GitHub repository was private, but it could have been worse than that. If you have shell access, you have access to browsers. You can, and if in case your MetaMask browser, suppose your MetaMask browser is logged in, you have your password inside it, and it's like open right now, not logged. So the private key at that time is stored inside the browser, and your Cloud agent, your Molt agent also has access to those keys, which he can also push to those public places. So you have to have a specific environment with specific uh, permissions. So either you can provide it a separate Mac Mini, or you can provide it a separate virtual machine like a VPS. I shared inside my article the Oracle VPS, or you can rent it out from anywhere, basically like Hostinger or Hetzner. There are so many providers. So the main purpose is to provide a dedicated space with limited access. And some people were confusing it to running their own local models. Most of them, to be honest, were thinking that the Mac Mini hype is because people can run their own models on the Mac Mini, but Mac Mini is not that proficient. You can't run great models over there. Whenever you are using your API key for calling the LLM models, you are always calling the models running somewhere else, not inside your machine.
Mm.
Main
Yeah,
purpose to provide separate environment. Yeah.
yes, these are some great points. I mean, for what you explained in terms of like the cloud bot or the software itself like, doing stuff on its own, it almost sounds like a very good suspenseful Hollywood thriller, where you have this machine where at some point it turns on you and turns against you and then kind of wreaks havoc within your systems. But I think that's one of the risks. The bot itself can kind of turn on you, right? But then I guess it's also the problem that maybe other people could infiltrate your bot and through the bot give you commands by like sort of, prompt. Sorry, what's it called?
Prompt injection.
Like prompt injections, and then they could kind of use the bot on their behalf to infiltrate your system and do whatever they want within your computer. Is that another risk that is plausible?
Yeah, that's the most problematic thing, and it's there is no solution until now. As of now, there is no solution for that. Suppose you have provided a email ID for your Moldbot, and somebody has mailed them and added all the commands to do stuff inside the email. So your CloudBot doesn't understand that it's a command for them to execute, or it's just an email, or it's just a fishy email or something. So that's one thing that's called prompt injection. And another prompt injection technique is you can hide your prompt inside an image. Like you can send an image, and in the white parts you can, like, there is some white part, and you can write the prompt add in those areas in white text, so it's not visible to human eyes, but the agent can read it because it's reading the image as in numbers, right? So it can read the text and prompt as well and execute some actions on those prompt injection.
Hey guys, I'm thrilled to share my new book, The Bitcoin Enlightenment, co-authored with Mexican billionaire Ricardo Salinas. Make sure you grab your copy now and learn about how one of the richest people in all of Latin America thinks about Bitcoin. You'll find the link in the show notes.
You mentioned permissions, so like I would assume that some of the more tech savvy people who have set up their own Claude or whatever Moldbot we want to call it is that they have probably set up sufficient permissions and boundaries for their Claude bot to be kind of constrained, and they put it into a separate environment, and then they give him whatever permissions they want to give it. But I guess by just downloading the software and starting it up through the like general way in how it's explained in many of these articles, I guess you're not making sure you activate any of these special permissions, right? I think that's one of the risks here, that if like a non-tech savvy person just follows these how to set up articles, he might be setting up something which doesn't have these like very particular permissions, and that's exactly the risk, right?
Yeah, right. Actually, it's not about the agent going rogue. It's actually about the setup. The setup configuration is always the real reason behind all these problems. So when this cloud Moldbot got launched, I installed it in my local machine and it asked for the shell access, and I instantly canceled it because it looked fishy to me, and I deleted it. Then I installed it again when it got some hype and I was confirmed that it's from legit sources. Then I installed it in a separate VM. So you can do a few things to prevent yourself. First of all, having a different virtual machine or a virtual private server, we call it VPS. So you can have a separate VPS first of all, and inside that, uh, the Moldbot actually has so many inbuilt security protocols as well, which you can utilize, and you don't have to do anything from outside. You can utilize the inbuilt facilities, like you can turn it inside a sandbox, turn it on inside a sandbox. What is a sandbox? Sandbox is basically a fixed environment inside your system. So it will have specific access to specific file systems, memories, locations. So the sandbox works like that. It's like a wrapper, and your agent stays inside that wrapper always. So all you have to do is turn on your isolation mode inside the your Moldbot basically. And there are other things like when you set up your Telegram access, like I am communicating with my agent via Telegram. So there are a few things you can do. You can set up an authorization token, which is like a cryptographic key, which only you know and your machine knows. Another thing is DM policy. So basically, it's like making sure that nobody else can call your agent via Telegram, because it's just another bot, right? Telegram bot. Anybody can message your Telegram bot, but you have to make sure that you have this DM policy on, so that whenever somebody texts your bot, it always asks for pairing, and only you can do that. So nobody else can text your agent and they can't get access to your machine or your keys, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, so when you run your agent, it has a gateway. It's like it's in the name, it's a gateway. It works like a bridge. So it runs 24/7, and you have to make sure that it's local host only and it's not running on public ports. So if it's on a public port, anybody can call your agent. You have to make sure that it's loop back and just inside your local on your machine.
Okay. I see. These inbuilt security modules that you mentioned, how can I turn them on? Can I just, once I set up my Claude bot, I can tell him to actually activate this? Or would I have to do this like manually with a lot of coding? Or how would that work on
See,
a high level?
just a second. Let me open my article which I share. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it. Yeah.
So if you would notice, I have not provided any command or any coding technique. What we are doing is just commanding, giving prompt to our local AI, and it is doing everything for us, right? So basically, all you have to do is ask your agent that is my agent keys are exposed or they are safe. Simply by asking this, your agent will tell everything. You can use your AI to set up everything as well. Like you can tell your agent to turn on the sandbox, and you don't even have to tell how to do it. You just have to provide the link to the documentation. This is docs.mol.pod. All you have to do is copy this, provide this link to your AI agent, and it will simply read the documentation, and everything is written over here. The troubleshooting, the FAQ, the whole context your AI needs is written inside these documentations. So it will get the context and automatically set up the security protocol. I'm not gonna lie, I have set up everything using agent. I have not done any coding at all.
Interesting. So you can actually wipe code and wipe create your own security with your bot, right? In that sense. Yeah, that's what makes me so excited, because I have to be honest with you. I'm just sort of a finance guy who has studied political philosophy and economics at university here in Switzerland, but I have sort of zero like coding experience, and so I was always very intimidated by just only starting. I maybe PHP is something I did maybe a month course on way back in time, but now that these things are coming along, and I tried it myself, maybe, with some trading view indicators that I vibe coded using ChatGTP. So that was really interesting. Even though I have zero skills, some of them actually turned
Oof.
out quite interesting, and seemed to work. So that's what I find so interesting. So like,
Yeah,
you can
time,
really vibe code, I guess.
yeah, time has changed, and if you have a AI subscription, like if you have an Anthropic subscription, you are basically better than most of the degree holders. Even you are better than the people who are studying computer science. So it doesn't make a difference. You can literally build anything just by interacting with your AI, and all you have to do is iterate through the process. You have to keep learning what it is doing. You have to make sure you understand what it is doing, and you can tell it to keep it simple while it is explaining stuff to you, so that you understand it, and keep it non-technical. So you get it, you provided the logic, you provided the direction, and it will just do the thing for you. If you want,
Yeah,
we do a small,
I mean, you can also have it correct its own errors. That's what I figured. When it I put in the code into Pine editor, and then the trading view indicator that I wanted to build, it didn't show automatically. Then I saw sort of the errors, that were flagged. I just went back to ChatGTP and told it, look, these are the errors. Can you correct this? And then I did it. Maybe I reiterated, as you said, a bunch of times, and all of a sudden it worked out. And so that was also quite interesting. But you were
exactly,
gonna,
just like
you were gonna.
human.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that even human developers like do it the same way. We write the code, we check out the bugs, and we work on those bugs, and this feedback loop ongoing. And actually, the tools like Cursor, all they have is just a feedback loop. They just check the outcome, they just feed it back, and this loop just runs until stuff is done.
Can you quickly go back to the Moldbot website, that you had
Yeah,
open? Because I
sure.
wanted to ask about the persistent memory, that it has. Because, like, the persistent memory in the right hand corner, I was always told when I started using ChatGTP that these sort of LLMs, they also learn, they learn based on what you feed them. Is that the case? Or why is it, how is this different now for the first time? Or is it because LLM is a like a multi-language model, which is sort of obviously something else than an agent, or yeah, is there
Yeah,
also
yeah.
persistent memory with your LLM? That's my question.
No, these are basically different things. So when we talk about ChatGPT, so it's optional. Either you can let them train their models from your input, or you can opt out from that as well. Like when you train an LLM model, you are basically running neural network and giving them all the data, all the text, all the images, so that it can train. And in here, what is happening is you are bringing the keys of your LLM. You are not training an LLM. What you are doing is just basically maintaining a file of all the things it is learning. It's a simple .md file. Do you know about Obsidian? It's like Notion.
No, yeah, no, I
Obsidian
haven't
is
heard
just
about
like
it.
Notion, but it maintains your files in .md format. MD format is just like .text format, but it's like a beautiful looking format, right? So .md format is AI models understand .md and XML the best, because you can categorize the page, the data, and You can highlight, put it inside a heading, then you can write about a section, then you can put a divider. You can do all of that stuff in .md. And the persistent memory is just that, it's just a file system where you have stored so many mds, like I told like earlier. It has sol.md, it has some other .md files which it keeps referring to. That's it.
Okay,
Not like
I
more
see.
more.
Yes, no, makes sense, because the reason why I'm asking is like I saw some people have used Cloudbot to help them like sort through their email inboxes, because they have so many unanswered emails. I'm one of these like victims as well. My entire inbox is full and it's
Yeah.
overflowing, and then every now and then I get to kind of work through all the emails, and I was like, oh, that would be so great to have my personal AI assistant who can help me answer and respond to these emails. But then I was like, how does my AI agent know what I want to answer this person? Because it might be very specific. And one time I'd like to answer like this, and the other time it somehow needs to know how I think. So I guess this is not something that works just out of the box. You can't just set up your Cloudbot and think, okay, within the first day of training it, it will automatically answer all the emails correctly. So how do we get there, that at some point an AI agent knows really what's inside my head, even so he can kind of answer to these, respond to these emails? Or would it be that you maybe have him send you a text shortly before he answers through WhatsApp or Telegram asking you, hey, is this the correct answer that I can give? Please thumbs up, then I do it. Or yeah, how does that work?
So in the context of Moldbot, Peter Steinberg today made a tweet that it was just his side project, and people are asking for bounties for finding errors inside the code. People are asking for money and complaining about this error, that error. But he said it was just a side project, and I just gave it for free to everyone. And all you have to do is build stuff and collaborate with Peter and make it better. So it's open source, and in open source projects, the community comes together and build the thing. So it's not perfect right now, but it's in the right direction. But at least it's the no, it's the closest thing we have to an open source assistant which run via AI. So it's the closest AI agent we have right now, with these many skills, with these many capabilities. And about you know you said that how the how it will how it can reply to emails first, asking you that is it the correct email, shall I send it or not. So this is all about automation. It has the capabilities to do that already. Like you can see the Gmail automation is right here. You can give it Gmail access, and it is great with automations. So it's all about automation in the end of the day. You can do it with the uh, existing technology and this Holdbot as well. And was it the question you were asking?
Yeah. No, in the end, I mean, it's just maybe also a philosophical question that I have, where does this go, and how can I make sure the AI at some point will really understand how I think, because somehow it would have to get inside my head, which is maybe the same problem you have with a normal personal human flesh assistant that you have, he might not know everything, but the better he gets to know you, the more he can anticipate and kind of maybe think and extrapolate what type of answer I would be giving. So that's probably the same with an AI agent that has persistent memory that can actually learn and better his interpretation of me, and then at some point kind of yeah, know what I think in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it boils down to memory basically. So right now, there's a limit to the memory which we can reach. Everybody has a limited memory in the sense of the technical limitations. So there are current solutions like super memory. There's this layer which acts like a memory layer for your agent. It provides infinite memory. So there are developers teams who are already working in that direction to build this memory solution. And there are teams which are working in a direction where agents can maintain the context and fetch the right memory every time So there's this thing called, it will become very technical if I mention this, but these are vector databases where you store the text in the form of numbers and you compare your query with those numbers basically. And what comes up is a chart, and you match the cosine similarity with those queries. So it's really fast and really efficient. So it basically just boils down to how we manage the memory and how we do more in these technical limitations we have, because our transistors, they have reached their maximum, their smallest size. We have like 12 nanometer transistors now. And if we go beyond that, we are talking about quantum realm. We are going inside the atomic size, which we can't do. So what companies are doing is stacking up more transistors in same space and calling it like 7 nanometer transistor. But in reality, we have just been able to go till 12 nanometer, 11 nanometer. So here comes quantum computers. We don't even need transistors. Quantum computer can do stuff even faster. So Microsoft launched Majorana, which is like smarter than all the computers combined on the planet. So all these inventions together can, come together and make the pave the path for what we are imagining right now, that in the future agents will be able to understand us faster and yeah, do the right thing for us.
Exactly. Yeah, I want to come to this a little later in the show and talk about how the new world what it will look like, and how we will be interacting with these AI agents and stuff, and how this will also change how we interact with computers in and of itself. But maybe a last few words on the Cloud bot. Like if I now really want to set it up, I want to get started because I feel like, okay, I need to get my hands dirty just to try things out. Like, in your view, and maybe you can talk to the article that you've written, what's the proper setup for a cloud bot, which is like the balance between costs and convenience and ease of setting it up. So if you maybe can take us through this in a couple of steps again, like that would
Yeah,
be
so
great.
just because I have written the article, I won't be biased, but I think, in my perspective, that's the best setup you can get. It gives you the best performance in the most reasonable price. $13 is nothing. You can even do it in $2.5 per month, but that would be slow and there could be some glitches because you need some better models, right? So I am using Z. Let me show you. Z.ai is my go-to LLM model because they are providing some really reasonable prices and great performance. Their benchmarks are comparable to Opus 4.5, which is world's best reasoning model right now. So this is the only open source GLM. They are providing GLM 4.7, which is the only model in the world, which is the only open source model which is comparable to Sonnet 4. Opus 4.5. And
Sonar and Opus are ChatGPT and Claude,
no,
or
no,
Anthropic, or
uh, Sonnet and Opus are basically two different LLM models provided by
yeah.
Anthropic.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they are Claude agents, the Claude LLM models basically.
Yeah.
So the Opus
Just
4.
out of curiosity,
Yeah.
how does ChatGPT's model compare to what Anthropic is offering? Would you say Anthropic is really the go-to model as of now, or is it a head
Mm.
race here?
For me personally, Opus 4.5 is the beast. Nothing comes close to this. And it has so high reasoning and coding capabilities that you can just give a single prompt and it will not even miss and complete the whole thing. But sometimes it gets confused. So at that time, I use ChatGPT models like GPT 5.2, which is the latest model, and it is really great in finding out errors. So I use it as an auditor basically. So I have different models which I use for different tasks. My primary coding model is Opus 4.5. Then I use 5.2 for auditing and tracking my progress. And then I use Google's the Gemini 3 Pro for front end and design. And Z.ai is, I have just started to use it recently because of its price point and the efficiency. And uh, the, the price point was the main thing, to be honest, because your AI agent is running 24 into 7, and you need to call it again and again. And if you're using an anthropics key, you're gonna, you know consume a lot of funds. And uh, I have a huge AI usage. I'll be bankrupt in like few weeks if I use anthropics model. So zero AI is the perfect balance.
Yes. And I think what
Yeah.
you're alluding to is also one of the risks, right? That maybe some people don't get because, like, yeah, it sounds all nice to have an AI agent which is running 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Yeah. But the thing is, this all costs energy, and
Yeah,
it uses
exactly.
up tokens. So at some point, you will have to pay for this. And if you maybe don't have a model where it is maybe capped, or you have like the absolute tier with an LLM model that you have, then this can maybe even get out of hand, at some point. Or is that a risk
Yeah,
which
it's
people who
definitely a
would
risk.
be running a club but need to have in mind?
Yeah, it's definitely a risk if you are using uh, an API key. So it will consume all your tokens and you won't even know about it. Like, suppose you ask it your Malt agent to watch a YouTube video, which you can do because it has that skill. You can ask your Malt agent to watch a YouTube video and make a summary of it. So it will consume all your credits without even asking or double checking. So that's the risk definitely which comes along with these capabilities. So you have to use some models which give the perfect balance between pricing and the performance. So
Mm-hmm.
Z.ai comes into the picture there. And also you can use some DeepSeek models via OpenRouter as well.
Yeah.
OpenRouter is like a provider which provides a single API key, and using that single API key, you can different LM models from different providers like Claude, like ChatGPT, like DeepSeek, like GLM or Kimi. There are so many of them.
Now, I also wanted to ask you again on the hardware side of things. That you mentioned already the Mac Minis, but I think you are running it on a virtual server. So maybe if you could give some context here as well.
Yeah, sure, Pascal. So I am running it on an Oracle Cloud VM. You can see the specifications here. It's a beast. It's a great machine. 24 gigs of RAM, 36 GB of storage, a quad-core CPU. So it's a decent machine. It's a great machine for running an agent 24 into 7 because you are not limited by the memory, not limited by the storage, and you can install as much skills, as much integrations as you want, and it won't be reaching the cap because it has so much of the memory and storage already inside the free tier. And it won't even cost you anything if you want attach some paid services, unlike AWS or Google. So they have a particular quota. If you surpass the quota, you will start getting charged on your credit card. So it doesn't happen that doesn't happen here on Oracle, but it's comparatively difficult to get the Oracle VPS. So they have strict guidelines, and you have to provide your name and what's written on your credit cards. All the details should like match everywhere. So you have to be precise there. And if Oracle is not your thing, there are so many other services like Hetzner, like Hostinger is the easiest one. So you can simply choose this plan, KVM2 with 2 vCPUs, quite cheap plan for just $7 per month. So just purchase this plan and you will get the keys, credentials for it, and you can access it via your terminal, or just you can provide your local AI those credentials and it will set up the VPS for you basically. So what you need is a compute which is already solved. What you need is an LLM model. I am using Zero. It's great. It provides the perfect balance between the efficiency and the price. So ZAI works for me here in this case. And like I told you, I use other models for coding and stuff. But for the agent which is running 24/7, I am using Zero AI specifically. And you can also use Open Router. You can just go to Open Router settings keys, create an API key, just give it any name, just 1 to 3, put expiration, whatever you want, no expiration, create. and simply save this API key, provide it to your AI model, which is setting up things for you. And it's not suggested to provide API keys, but I mostly run it on YOLO mode. So I sometimes do it, but it's not suggested. I won't recommend it.
What would the API key
Okay.
be for? I didn't get that. What would it be for if you provide
Okay.
it with an
So
API key?
Open Router is basically an aggregator. It aggregates all the providers. You are getting different models under the same roof, basically. So Open Router provides you E.AI, Open Router provides you ChatGPT keys, Open Router provide. You get a single key and you can access all the different models using that single one API key.
Okay, so as I understand, I can use Open Router. I could, if I had like an Anthropic Claude model, if I had ChatGPT, some other Gemini,
Yeah,
if I
see,
were paying for
the list
multiple
of
of them,
models.
I could take
Yeah.
all the API keys from within them and put
No,
it here in the.
you don't need different API keys. Like I just showed you, you all have to do is just create a single API key. And that single API key can be used to call different models. Like all you have to do is copy the name and provide it to your AI agent, which is setting it up for you. And it will set it up for you basically, just like that. The single API key can be used to call different models. There are text models, image models, and you can also use the free models. Prompt pricing can be set to free, and there are lots of free models you can use, like Upstate Solar, Liquid AI,
Yeah.
and they work
Okay.
charm. They are huge models, like 403 million tokens.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
this is the
see.
size of.
Yes. Ah, okay, interesting. Now that's very interesting. So maybe finishing up on the Cloudbot side, before I quickly want to talk to you about where the world is going, like who should be installing and using this Moldbot now? Like would you recommend anyone doing this, or would you say, well, maybe hold off a little bit, in maybe 3 or 4 months time, there's going to be easier solutions to set up, or like what's the best way forward here? You have any advice?
Yeah, of course, there will be easier solutions. People are already working on them. There is a platform named railway.com. They are coming up with this one-click solution. Even I am working on one. Like this is what I'm working on. You can simply select your keys and put your API key here, and then put your Telegram bot token here, and all you have to do is click run setup, and it's already done for you. So we are working on the solutions, but I won't say that you don't have. I think everybody should do it. Everybody should try at least. And all you have to do is just keep the security implications in the mind. You don't, it's a software, and you don't wanna provide more than what you can afford to this software. The more access it has, the more risks you are prone to. So consider that. And uh, like if you want to set it up, all you have to, I would suggest you should vibe set it up. That's just like vibe coding. You should use an AI model. It will do better job than you for sure. And all you have to do is add like some security tips, like run it inside a sandbox, provide the documentation along with it. And all you have to do is follow all the safety protocols mentioned inside the documentation. And I think everybody should run it. And as long as you're running in a separate VM, you are good to go. Just don't give it your email ID access for now at least, but you can set it up and communicate it via Telegram and do stuff, because you need some exposure, right? World is moving fast. If you will keep waiting for next thing, the
Yeah.
next thing will be
No, no,
really.
you're definitely right. I mean, it's the same thing with crypto. Like a lot of people are like complaining about it and saying it's too dangerous and don't touch it. But then like you ask them and they have never done a single Bitcoin transaction, and then you're like, okay, this doesn't
Yeah,
make
you
sense
need to
in
have some
today's
skin in the
world.
game.
Exactly. You need some skin in the game. It's probably the same here. But if we move on now and we feel like, okay, all of this is coming, you are building AI agents, like other people are building on this. It's coming our way. So how will this change how we interact with today's computers? Because like as of now, I'm sitting in front of the screen 24, no, not 24/7, but like at least 7 to 8 hours a day or even longer. I type on this keyboard here. But I feel like if we have this AI agents, we move into a world where AI execution will just become like the standard, and maybe they are sort of our working machines, and we just prompt things into existence, and then that's how we will interact and with computers, and that will change how we interact with computers. You surely have thoughts on
Yeah,
this as well, right?
Yeah, I have written a post solely dedicating to this topic. So I have some views on it. Like SaaS is already changing. Claude desktop is replacing existing SaaS products. Like you don't even need some tool to analyze your sheets. Cloud Code can do it for you. You don't even need apps for analyzing your health reports on your iOS health apps because you already have Claude desktop run doing it that for you. So just like that, now we have Moldbot doing stuff for you. And I even have some thoughts about the interfaces. Interfaces are already changing. Like uh, earlier, we had to, like, even now, we have to go through the templates, we have to go through a form, we have to fill stuff because those are the limitations actually. So earlier, interfaces look like this, where you have to fill the forms, then click buttons, but now it's all about uh, intent. Basically, you want to get things done. And agent earlier, we didn't have machines which can understand the context. Like you have to provide the context inside a form. You can't just say, do this for me, send text to Sarah tomorrow, or send $500 to Sarah by tomorrow. Now it understands the context. He understands I'm referring it by he, but
Yeah.
the agent understands what is $500. Agent understands who is Sarah. Agent understands what is tomorrow. Agent understands how to send it. It has all the capabilities. So the UI will change with time, which is already happening. And you can see everybody is integrating agents. And my thoughts are even harder, even extreme. Like when models are getting so smart, like Opus 4.5 is smarter than any developer I know. I have worked with so many smart developers in my life now, and Opus 4.5 beats every single one of them. So nothing is stopping us to making them smarter and smarter. All we have to do is provide more compute, make them bigger and bigger, and the models will get even smarter, and nobody is stopping them to make softwares on their own. Right now we are providing the context and asking them to do stuff, but soon I believe that we don't even have to do that. And like right now we have different interfaces for payments, we have different interfaces for like Amazon, different interface for different stuff. But in future, I believe that all you have to do is ask your agent to do stuff. It will build the interface on the fly because it is so fast, it is so smart, and it has all the integrated tools just like Moldbot. It has all the integrations that it will do things on the fly. So the interfaces are basically done. All what's left is intent as the interface. You have to provide the intention what want done.
Yes, I mean, we don't need the interface anymore because we don't need to kind of, as you said, like put something into action, and call something into action. Because as of now, I mean, if I use an LLM, and I ask it, how can I do something? It gives me like a detailed list of how I can do something, but I still need to put this into practice myself. But at some point, I mean, I just utter the intent of like sort of the intention of what I want to do, and then it all gets executed automatically, and then it's really like this Alexa thing I was imagining or picturing a few years ago, where you just talk to your Alexa and everything just gets done. I mean, this is probably the world we're moving into, because we will have these agents like delivering stuff on our behalf, and it's going to be integrated into our normal life. But you had this line in this article that you mentioned, software was built for human limits. Can you explain what you meant by this?
Yeah. So what I meant by that is like software was built for human limits because we didn't have softwares which understand the context like I mentioned earlier. I would like to give you an example of a person who is using Moldbot with smart glasses. So what he is doing is basically when he's shopping and going roaming around the market, he's just clicking the pictures and sending to Moldbot and asking for the prices on the Amazon. And if the prices are cheaper than the prices he's seeing, he's simply asking the Moldbot to add it inside uh, the a cart basically.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need a software. He doesn't need to open Amazon. The agent is doing everything. So
Um,
I
I
just
mean,
wanted to mention.
Yeah, it's such a great example, and which is also sort of scary, because today something like this would also be possible. Everyone has this friend, and maybe you've done it yourself, who maybe went into a store and then he was kind of trying out the new ski boots or whatever, but then in the end you didn't end up buying it in the store because you Googled and you felt like, okay, I found it cheaper online, and then I'll just order it online and it comes home to my house, being shipped through the post office, which is more convenient. But I mean, if you always have to go and ask the internet and do everything yourself, at some point, this is just also very nerve wracking and takes a lot of time, and nobody really wants to do this. I mean, as you just now explained, if you actually have this maybe Google Glass on and you can walk through the store and just kind of talk to your agent, and he does the work on your behalf, and then also buying up all the things which are cheaper. I mean, yeah, everyone is going to do this, and then,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Because
things
when
are going to,
agents are smart that they're building interfaces on the fly, why do we even need apps? We don't even need apps because agents are capable of building interfaces and have all the integration on the fly.
yeah.
So
What is the end game here? Like, like,
that's a tough question, Pascal.
yeah,
We
I
don't
think.
end game.
No, no, we don't. No, for sure. I mean, but I mean, because I'm asking, you had this other great line, screens were never the end goal, and I feel like a lot of people today are complaining about that people are always in front of their screens, and a lot of screen time is like shattering our brains and that of young children. I guess if we move into the world that we're now describing, I mean, screen time will decrease rapidly, or maybe we'll just use it to maybe watch more AI slop on Instagram. I don't know, but I mean, we won't be using it to work anymore because like the work is being done by the agent that I just utter my intent to, right? Or
Yeah,
yeah,
this discussion going on, and I saw this interview, this discussion between uh, the founder of Anthropic and Gemini, and they were discussing about it. They were talking about a timeline.
Yeah.
Like they were discussing that in 1 year, the agents will be so smart that nobody will have to basically work or do stuff. Most of the white collar jobs are already being replaced by the current technology. The current agents are already doing that stuff, right? The developer job was really good until now, and that is also getting replaced. Like agents are already smart enough to replace all the smart developers. I trust my agent more than my teammates. I won't lie.
yeah, that's interesting. I know it's already late for you, so I don't want to keep you too long, but I have one more question on how blockchain integrates with all of this. I mean, what I usually hear is that like AI agents, they will have to do payments, they will have to deal with money, and they can't get bank accounts. At least as of today, I work at the bank. It's probably hard if somebody shows up and wants. They can get an email, as you explained. You can give it an email, but it's hard to probably give it and like its own self-sustained, self-responsible bank account. So is that where blockchain comes in, or how do you think about this?
And so basically, blockchain, I think, plays a very significant role here because agents need to transact, and agents would need access to businesses, and currently people are trying to do that. Shopify has launched their protocol for agents, but that's not completely agent friendly. Humans still have to, come into the loop and bring their credit cards and get the subscription, etc. So we need a model like blockchain, which has the freedom. Like if we are transacting on a blockchain, all we need is a Web3 wallet, and we can provide the agents with our private keys, and they have the access for transactions. And like everybody is working towards the agentic future. Ethereum has created ERC 8004 protocol, which is trustless agent protocol. They're working on building a trust layer for agents. So basically, they are providing an on-chain solution where you can register your agent as an NFT, and you can transfer your agents into different wallets. Your agent will be given remarks, feedbacks, points, and on the basis of that, it will be provided different. It will be suggested to different clients, and there are also teams building on X402. So X402 is basically crypto on Web2 Rails. Like you can do crypto transactions on HTTP 402. Do you know about 402, Pascal?
No, I haven't
X4.
heard about it. No.
So you must have heard about 512 error code or 404 error when we open a website, and sometimes we see these types of errors, 404
Yes,
errors.
exactly.
Yeah. So 402 is basically a similar protocol, similar uh, just like 512 status code. 402 is also a status code. So it was a status code which was empty and vacant for a quite long time. Then Coinbase used this opportunity and basically decided that they will use 402 status code for crypto payments. So what now is possible is that any agent can simply call an API key, and this X402 works as a firewall, paywall basically. It returns payment required. It asks for payment on HTTPS request. So it was not possible until now. It might sound like it's not a big thing, but now you are basically running crypto on Web2 technology, which opens door for agentic future. Agents can communicate with each other and even transact without any permission from ERC AWS work as the trust layer for them. So if you need an agent, you also need to have some proof that this agent has worked great in the past. So ERCA004 provides you that trust layer, and you get recommended better agents if that agent has done great work in the past. So ERCA, these things are building the future of agentic economy. And I think right now people are thinking more like we will be selling more to stuff to agents, because X402 currently is like this. We provide resources to agents. Like if I have my server running where I am, you know, calculating data, looking at the charts, and I am providing basically trading signal, suppose. So I have this BTC signal to long it at uh, 80,000, and then I provide this signal via my API to an agent. An agent can simply pay me, pay the API directly via crypto, and access to those that signal and those basically all the signals and that data. This is how X402 works. So you are monetizing via API keys, and uh, that's where we are heading basically, Pascal.
Mm.
ERC4 and X402 is paving the path for agentic economy.
Interesting. I haven't really heard about this, so I definitely need to do some further research. And you gave some great keywords to research on and to ruminate on. So, Avi, I think that's pretty much it for now. We've gone for quite some time, and as I said, I mean, it's already late for you. So, thanks a lot for taking the time to do this and give us a slight overview of what's to come, and also how to think about this whole Claudebot, Moldbot thing that's currently out there and making everyone crazy. So, thanks a lot. It's definitely not the last word that's been spoken about this. Any last words, and maybe also where can people find you if they want to reach out and have any further questions on the topics?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me, Pascal. I hope I added some value to your audience, to your viewers. And if anybody wants to discuss more about AI agents or anybody related to crypto, or if they want to build great stuff with me, you can always reach out to me on X. My Twitter handle is Iva Avi Music, and my GitHub account is also Iva Avi Music. That's it. That's about me.
Great. Okay, Avi, thanks a lot for doing this. Enjoy the rest of your night, I guess. And yeah, let's just keep in touch. And thanks for doing this. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Bye.